Coming up on the Fish Hunt Forever podcast.
Oak Island Resort is the oldest resort on the Northwest Angle. Was built in 1938.
It's insane.
Yeah, 10 guys, 10 rabbits apiece.
South Dakota, they're huge. They shoot 500,000 birds a year. North Dakota's a distant second at 80 to 100,000 birds.
This is the Fish Hunt Forever podcast, formerly Sporting Journal Radio, presented by OnX. Know where you stand with OnX. All right, welcome to the show. I'm Bret Amundsen with Dan Amundsen and David Eckhart. What's up, fellas?
Oh, not too much.
Spring. And Steve's here, too. We'll talk to you in a minute, Steve. There's a little teaser for later in the show. We're going to bring him on because you guys did a pretty cool rabbit hunt that you've been doing every year. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be debuting on Prairie Sportsman this weekend. So we'll talk about that later in the show. It's a pretty neat small game tradition. It's something that not a lot of people do anymore. So we'll tell you about that coming up. Also, you guys, Min Fish has put out a statement about the proposed walleye limit reduction from 6 to 4. What did Min Fish have to say about it? We'll tell you that. I figured out how we're going to give people more money in the tournament this year, the SGR 500 tournament. So we'll explain how you could put some more cash in your pocket. What else? We got a couple other things that we're going to talk about too. Plus, Joe Henry is going to join us. We've got another resort to learn about up at Lake of the Woods. It's all coming up. But first, Dan, who are the sponsors this week on the show?
Lake of the Woods Tourism. Lake of the Woods is the walleye capital of the world. Plan a fishing trip to Lake of the Woods at lakeofthewoodsmn.com. OnX Hunt, see private land boundaries, offline maps, and more. Take 20% off a new membership with code SJR20. Haybale Heights Campground and Resort. Fish Devil's Lake at Haybale Heights. Learn more at haybaleheights.com. Riverbend Resort. Put yourself in the heart of the fish migration in the Rainy River in Lake of the Woods with Riverbend Resort. And Prairie Sportsman. New season is underway. You can watch episodes anytime at the Prairie Sportsman YouTube channel.
There's a little teaser right there of the rabbit hunt. All right, before we get into that, though, here are some headlines. Headlines are brought to you by Space Trailers. This is a Red Wing, Minnesota-based company. They have lightweight, durable trailers that do not take up a lot of room. So if you need a utility trailer for hauling stuff around, maybe you want to go on camping trips and you don't want to haul a big trailer with you, this trailer can do the trick. It's a 600-pound trailer that can haul 1,000 pounds. Mine has space bars up on top of it. You can put a tent up on top of that. You can camp right in it. There's different color options, different wheel and tire options. Mine has all-terrain tires, which is pretty wild. Spacetrailers.com is the website, spacetrailers.com. Well, USA Today has a Reader's Choice Award nomination of a trail, the Gitche Gammy. Is that how you think you'd say it, Dan?
I would
Gitche Goomy.
Well, it's with an A. So Gitche Gammy Trail. I'm not quite sure. I've never taken it. Anyway, it's a 36-mile trail. It crosses multiple state parks along Minnesota's North Shore and offers splendid views of Lake Superior, an easy connection to the communities of Silver Bay, Lutzen, and Grand Marais. I think when the word splendid is being used, that's how you have to say it.
Have you ever been there?
I don't know how to say it. I mean, I've been to Lutzen and Grand Marais.
Maybe it is splendid.
It probably is. Yeah, it's beautiful up there, no question. There are a couple additional segments, and they want to make it 86 miles and go from Two Harbors to Grand Marais when finished. And right now it's nominated for Best Recreational Trail for USA Today 10 Best Reader's Choice Awards. I think you can actually go vote on it if you want to. So if you like that trail, go tell everybody about it, or don't. If you don't want a lot more people on it. All right, there's a couple new bills. I was reading in Outdoor News this morning. Senator Grant Hauschild from Ely, he wants to make the fishing open our state holiday in Minnesota.
I like it.
I think I can get behind that
Does that mean that state employees can't go to work? So like game wardens can't work that day or something?
Or they get time and a half since it's a holiday.
Oh, that's it. They just want to pad their pockets.
So do you think they would do you think they'd make the holiday on a Friday then, or a Monday, or just keep it on a Saturday and you wouldn't get the day off? Because you'd already have the day off probably.
Who gets days off for a state holiday in the first place?
That's a good question. Well, state employees. Post office would be closed.
That's federal.
Yeah, I suppose it would.
Just game wardens. Just take the day off.
All right.
Don't worry about it. There's nothing going on.
There's bills in the House and the Senate that would require firearm owners to have liability insurance for accidental discharge. I think that's kind of an interesting
private.
Hey-o. I think... Wow, Dan.
Nice.
Wow. I wonder how much that would cost. I mean, I'm not sure how I feel about that one yet. I mean, you should be liable if your gun goes off and something happens. So.
Guns.
Yes, firearms.
Interesting.
All right. Mike Weiner from Long Prairie, Weiner. He has authored a bill that would repeal the sunset date to use a crossbow during the archery seasons. So the crossbow usage, that's been a hot topic again lately. Not even from us. We're not even bringing it up, really. We're just talking about it, and everybody else is too. There was some testimony from a couple people on both sides saying, hey, this is improving opportunity for people out there. And then the guy from Minnesota Bow Hunters is like, I mean, it increased women and kids that were already hunting during the gun season anyway. So it's increased more time, opportunity to be in the woods, but it doesn't sound like it's actually grown the sport at all, if that makes sense, which is what one of the ideas of this becoming an opportunity throughout the season was like, oh, it's going to get so many more people into the outdoors, and it hasn't done that so far, is what studies have shown. And then somebody was also saying, well, it gets older people and people with disabilities out in the woods, and it's like, well, they always could do that. That was always a thing. So we'll see what happens with that. Minfish put a statement out on the proposed walleye reduction from 6 fish to 4 fish. The decision by the Minfish Board to remain neutral reflects, they will not support or oppose the statewide change in the state's walleye harvest limit from 6 to 4. But I think how they explain this decision, I think shows you more or less where they stand on it. The decision by the Minfish Board to remain neutral reflects frustration with the proposal. The organization does not believe the proposed 4-fish limit on its own will have substantial effect on walleye populations or angler success. What they would basically like to see is more management on individual lakes. Right now, a lot of the big walleye lakes get most of the management, most of the energy and effort, whereas some of the smaller lakes out there where you can catch walleyes don't get the management, maybe the surveys, the population estimates, as some of the big lakes do. So what they would like to see is, instead of just reducing this limit, because if you go from 6 to 4, what does that tell people? It tells people either A, our lakes are in trouble, or B, that reducing the limit on its own is going to increase walleye fishing success rates. There's zero evidence of that. And that's what Minfish is saying. So they're like, well, I mean, how about we do this? How about we just manage the lakes better? And to me, being able to manage lakes individually is going to have a bigger effect than just putting a blanket limit reduction on all the lakes statewide. So that's my thought. I didn't know if you guys had anything to add.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I think that's, they can follow the science, as Dan would click a button.
Follow the science.
I can't find it.
So go home. We love you.
Yeah,
You're very special.
Can't find it. Fine.
Look at this guy.
Guess who else has a button bar now?
Nice.
Who has 2 thumbs and a button bar? This guy right here. I love it. Anyway.
Guess who can have their button bar revoked any minute?
Guess who can revoke that right?
Oh, no! I love it. It's been so long since I've had one of these. I used to have for years I had one of these at my fingertips. I wish it was you don't have touchscreen over there though either, right? You got to click on them. I wish I had touchscreen.
Yeah, no, they haven't made a touchscreen MacBook Pro yet.
Yeah, they need to do that.
So.
You sure about that?
I love it. All right. So you guys remember talking about this last week? There was an article in Outdoor News about Mille Lacs and the new regulations and the new fish limits. And Tony Roach got interviewed in it. And he came out and said, one thing I will say about this is, since forward-facing sonar has come out, I'm fishing a lot differently. when it comes to hook mortality, I'm not seeing it as much as I used to because I'm not out Lindy rigging. I'm not out fishing the mud, out fishing deep, whatever. He's fishing more shallow water. He's pitching jigs. He's targeting fish. And to him, he thinks that means less hook mortality, which I agree with. So Rob Drieslein asked Tony to expand on that a little bit in the latest outdoor news. And he also talked to Brian Nurbin from the Minnesota DNR. And Brian said that the agency has conducted 2 hooking mortality studies on Mille Lacs, one in 2004 and one in 2016. But just first of all, think about how fishing has changed so much, even from 2016.
Well, it's been 10 years.
10 years. The latter study showed slightly lower hooking mortality with artificial baits. So more people were fishing artificial in 16 than they were in 04, and also at lower water temperatures. So the main driver of hooking mortality, however, is warm water, and at higher temperatures, mortality was similar with live baits and artificials. He said the DNR is open to discussing doing another hooking mortality study, but it's a lot of work. It's really expensive. There's a lot of variables, which to me tells me they looked back on those studies that they did and they said, I mean, yes, there's probably some trending evidence that they can figure out, but I bet they didn't get the evidence they were hoping to get or get the results that they were hoping to get from those studies. Brian went on to say it would be a substantial undertaking with some anglers using forward-facing sonar to target deeper fish. I'm not sure it's a given hooking mortality would be less. I can't answer what the difference is between a trolled crankbait and a plastic jig, but it would need to be fairly large to affect overall hooking mortality. That was his response to this whole question, this whole discussion. To me, he missed the whole point. The whole idea is water depth and fishing in shallower water.
Well, was that all he said, or was that all that was published?
Well, that's all that was in the article.
Yeah, see, I mean, who knows, but I also know how journalism works. That may have not have been all he said.
Well, Rob thought it was a pretty interesting story, so I'd be surprised if he left out more than that. But to me, the other thing that Tony Roach brought up in this article is he talked more about barotrauma. He said, for me as an angler, if I'm crappie fishing in a small lake, I don't even target them deep anymore. Especially during the ice season, we mostly bottom fished. But with education on barotrauma, we now fish them much shallower. So not only has, the way people fish changed a little bit with forward-facing sonar, but all the talk about barotrauma in the last couple of years, I think has really opened the eyes to a lot of anglers. And people are fishing differently. So I'm not sure that a change needs to be made. I mean, you can't blame forward-facing sonar on this, especially if people have the ability to catch fish and not go where something is going to have a barotraumatic effect on a fish. You can fish shallower and catch fish, or keep your 5 or whatever the limit is and move on. So you can read more about that in Rob's column in the latest outdoor news. All right, so we should take a break because we got Steve on hold here waiting for us. We got to talk rabbits. Mm-hmm. I bet you didn't think we were going to talk rabbits on this week's show, but we are. Plus Lake of the Woods, what's going on up there right now for fishing? How's the ice? I talked to Paul Johnson at Riverbend, and he kind of gave me a little tip about where the Rainy River is as far as open water. We'll tell you what that is when we come back.
It doesn't get much better than fresh perch and fresh walleye. If you're looking for an exciting winter fishing destination, come to Devils Lake, North Dakota. Haybale Heights Campground and Resort is on the ice with a fleet of snow bears, keeping you mobile and warm so you can stay on the roaming schools of fish. Haybale Heights on the east end of Devils Lake has knowledgeable guides, comfortable cabins, and their own lake access, making your trip as successful and stress-free as possible. To book your trip, go to haybaleheights.com. That's haybaleheights.com.
All right, we're back, and we are talking rabbit hunts. Why are we talking rabbit hunts in March? Well, because we've got a brand new episode of Prairie Sportsman that's coming out this Sunday night on Pioneer PBS. This is a little sneak peek of that episode.
Get him? I saw the fur fly. Coming up on the next Prairie Sportsman, we join a group of friends as they get together for their traditional Black Friday rabbit hunt.
Just edit it out if I miss.
Then, we visit the Raptor Center where staff and volunteers work to rehabilitate injured birds of prey and share the importance of these birds with the public.
Once you meet a raptor up close and personal, it's so natural to just get this amazing feeling of awe.
All right, of course our pizza's done right in the middle of this. Better pull it out of the oven. It just turns the timer off, leaves the pizza in the oven. That's David Eckhart walking out of the room, and we're going to bring him back here in 1 second. And also Steve Kvalm, who is joining us online right now. Steve, thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
The rabbit hunt is an annual tradition that you guys have been doing for about 20 years. It started with David and a couple buddies. I'll have him explain that start, but maybe since you're with us right now, you can tell me just what's your favorite part about doing that hunt?
The best part of that hunt is always just getting back together with your high school classmates. You know, we give each other a hard time for 364 days about who missed a shot where and, you know, who fell in a snowbank or whatnot. And then the day of the hunt comes and that all just kind of melts away and the new memories are made. So it's just getting together with your buddies.
I know it's a rabbit hunt, but squirrels and pheasants are fair game on that deal too. And I think it's kind of hilarious. And we glossed over it a little bit in the TV show, unfortunately, but you were at lunch talking about how you missed, I think, 6 roosters on one of the hunts. And it was like
7.
Was it 7?
Oh, yeah.
And it was like bang, 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 miss. And then a little bit later, another rooster gets up, bang, 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 miss. 7 times. It's not 7 that got up and you just started shooting. Like 7 times you missed roosters, right?
In one
Yeah,
grove.
no, that was at I think it was at David's place. Yeah. I had 7 roosters come out over about 15 minutes, and I missed every single one. So thanks for bringing that up.
Well, the reason I bring it up is because we shot 1 pheasant in this episode, and who was it that shot it?
Oh, it was me, of course. I got a lot better.
I thought that was kind of sweet justice right there.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
You can't make that stuff up. It's like a made-for-TV moment right there.
Redemption.
Yeah, I know. It was all the years of trap shooting I did as a coach up here that must have paid off finally.
Where are you coaching trap at?
I used to coach up at Central Minnesota, Bertha Hewitt. So.
Oh, awesome. And you're not doing it anymore? What about all the kids, man?
There's better people that are better shooters that are doing it. Put it that way.
That's awesome. All right, let's just run back to the beginning for just a second, David, because you started this hunt with 2 of your buddies 20 years ago.
Yeah. Yep. We started it, I think it was Thanksgiving or Christmas break, and, you know, we had time. Like, oh, let's get together and go do some hunting. And there wasn't a lot. There wasn't any birds around. We didn't want to go pheasant hunt. And we're like, oh, let's try something different. Let's go try and shoot some rabbits. Let's go push some groves. So we spent the afternoon doing that and shot a handful of rabbits, and everybody, you know, posted the picture, and all our buddies wanted to join in. So it grew a little bit the second year, and then third and fourth year, a couple more people joined in. Steve joined in the 5th year, and it's been a lot of fun. We've been doing it for 20 years now.
It's awesome. You don't hear about many people rabbit hunting anymore.
No, and one of our other buddies, Martin, he's the other original member that still does it. And this year, when we were talking about filming it, he's like, I was doing a bunch of research. I've been lurking all over YouTube, and the best video you can find is they shoot like 5. He's like, we're going to smoke them.
We shot a few more than that.
We did. We shot a full limit.
It's insane.
Yeah, 10 guys. 10 rabbits apiece.
That was crazy. That's not the first time you've done that.
No, we did it last year too.
Yeah.
Or the year, 2 years ago.
And what does that tell you? I mean, A, you're probably getting better at it, but B, there's a lot of rabbits out there.
The best I think before that we'd ever done was like 75 or 76, for 10 to 12 guys pushing the same groves.
There are piles and piles of rabbits, and nobody's hunting them. So that allows, in a sense, that'll allow the population just to kind of keep growing and growing.
Right.
But I think what I was most surprised about this was the way that you hunted them, because you think about it, we're going to go on a rabbit hunt. This is going to be pretty easy, laid back. No, I mean, it was pretty intense at times.
Some of those groves are pretty thick, and we used to hunt some that were a lot thicker, didn't we, Steve? There were some.
Yeah, we used to kind of run through some things that you didn't really want to even go in there. You just kind of said, maybe not.
Our other buddy Ethan, we call him Beef. And sometimes it's like you don't even bring a gun with you because he'll just bear crawl through the thickest of thick stuff. Like, well, one ran in there. He's like, I got it. 10 minutes later, he comes crawling out the other side. Did you get it?
Who's fallen in a snowbank?
That was Martin.
Martin, oh, okay.
That was, for a few years we did it on Christmas break because that's just when everybody had time. And but there was too much snow, in certain years, and so doing it a day after Thanksgiving is better weather conditions. But the one year the groves had drifted in, and he was walking on top of a drift. Well, we didn't know there was a row of lilac trees underneath it, and all of a sudden he just disappeared. Like, oh, where'd he go? And he's like, I'm stuck. We had to dig from the side to dig him out. He couldn't even get out. And then digging in, we found tree branches and trying to fish him out of there. It took a few minutes, but we got him out of there. So, no, we've pushed a lot of the same groves, but the weather conditions change every year. Some years there's a lot of snow. Some years it's nice and open. I like a little bit of snow, though.
I think one of the really more unique parts of that hunt, too, is what kind of guns you guys were using, because it was a chance to break out some different guns, maybe some side-by-sides or something smaller caliber, things like that, or even black powder shells.
Yep. Black powder shells, a lot of 410s. Well, you used to bring a 16 gauge, didn't you, Steve?
No, Martin brought a 16. I used to shoot 20 gauge over under and 12 gauge over under, but I've just kind of settled on, if I'm going to miss, I'm going to shoot 12 gauge.
Or somebody had a 28 or something one year. Didn't you have a 28?
Martin and Stanton just bring some weird things. And I always laugh when Stanton shoots.
He was the first guy that I was standing next to, I think. Oh, no, the second hunt we were on. I was standing next to him. He was posting, and he was telling me about these. I got these black powder shells. I don't know. They're a single shot proposition, and all of a sudden I watched a rabbit. You guys kicked a rabbit out right in front of him. I go, there's one right there, and he shoots, and then the smoke, just like this huge cloud of smoke, just blowing downwind real slowly, and then a second one came out, and he shot another one, and then the best though was listening to that thing go clink, 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 clink.
Yeah, the full brass shell ejecting onto the gravel road. Yeah, it
was neat. I mean, that to me is one of the best parts about the entire experience, is the fact that you guys are out there. You know, he's loading his own shells, and he's doing something unique, like these brass hulls, and you guys are out there with different guns. And I know at one point you were bringing, was it your dad's 410?
Yeah.
And then you realized how much it was worth?
Yeah, the one year it was raining, and, we're pushing these groves in the rain, and it was wet and dirty, and, I was pushing with that 410, and it got soaked, so I brought it into the gun shop, because I didn't know how to, take it completely apart and deep clean it inside where all the part mechanism was, and they got it cleaned up, and I went and picked it up, and they're like, you know what this thing's worth, right? I'm like, no. And they're like, well, it's a lot. Like, yeah. And they told me. I was like, okay, I'm not going to use this for the rabbit hunt anymore. Piling through sticks and brush and buckthorn.
What gun did you have, Steve, out there this year?
I brought my Franchi over under that I got in high school, so it's a nice little pheasant gun every once in a while.
Wasn't it two different gauges or something, the different barrels?
Yeah, it has. I'm able to swap out barrels between a 20 gauge and a 12 gauge, which is probably the reason I spent too much money on it growing up. But it's pretty convenient to be able to say, all right, I'm going to go post, so I'll bring a 12 gauge, or I've missed way too many, and 20 gauge shells are cheaper, so I'll rip those things for a bit or steal from some David.
Well, and we've pushed these groves.
Which has been known to happen.
We've pushed these groves for so many years that we know which ones are going to have pheasants or more likely to have pheasants. Yep. So it's like, well, let's make sure the posters have 12 gauges, because there's a fair chance there's going to be some pheasants here. So, well,
even pushing the same groves year after year, we get to learn where, all right, I want to avoid this stick, so I'm going to put beef or someone else in that lane, and I'm going to go 2 lanes out, so I'll get a better shot and won't have to get smoked in the face.
Or
not that happens.
Or certain groves, it's like, all right, who hasn't had a lot of shooting, because the posters at this grove are going to get some shooting, and we've gotten to know them pretty good.
Yep. I finally did some hunting at the end, and in my head, I had this vision of the rabbit hunt with rabbits going pew, 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 and you're like, it's chaos, which it was.
Yeah.
A lot of times especially for the guys that were, pushing the woods. But the posters, so I ended up posting at the end, and I'd have these rabbits like pew, 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 and then they just sit right in front of me.
Stop right in front.
Stop. I'm like, all right. I shot one, and I remember looking back at Stanton, I think, because he grabbed the camera and did some filming. So thank you, Stanton, for doing some filming for us. But I just looked at him and started laughing like, okay, like kind of felt bad about that guy at that point, but and then didn't Martin have like some youth gun or something like that?
Yeah, he's got a youth 20 gauge Mossberg with the 1-inch extension, so it'll fit a 10-year-old, but it's still about 3 inches too short for him.
I've got that youth single shot 28 gauge, which might be kind of fun, but I've taken that thing dove hunting now. I did shoot a pheasant with it. That's right. I was going to say I haven't shot anything with it, but I took it on a pheasant hunt that we filmed last year, I think maybe.
I don't think we filmed that with that gun.
Well, I think I filmed it on the GoPro.
Oh, well.
But it didn't make the TV show. But we filmed it when we were filming Prairie Sportsman, and I finally shot one with the 28 gauge. I freaked out.
Perfect rabbit gun.
Yeah, right?
Nice short, little good little brush gun.
I was going to say, I can't hit anything with it, though. And I think part of it is, and I'm figuring this out with my 20 gauge, and that's what I brought was this new Sorex that I've got. And the Sorex does shoot a little bit higher than my Beretta. But I think it's such a smaller gun that I just need to get it fit. I need to figure out how to get it fitted and have it fit me a little bit better. And that little 28 gauge, it's like I feel like an 8-year-old walking around, with a little Nerf gun or something. The thing is so tiny, but that'd be pretty sweet. All right, Steve, I know you're on your lunch break. Anything else about the hunt that you want to talk about?
I wish more people would take time to actually do this and continue it on. It is a blast. Getting to hang out with David and all those guys again. It reminds you of the good old days of high school and doing dumb things, but you get to eat rabbit at the very end. That's always the best part.
And we should mention that you guys, and I had to leave, so I felt a little bad about that too, but you guys cleaned all those
had
rabbits.
To leave.
Yeah, what did we have? We had something going on.
Oh, I wasn't
Your company.
Oh, I had people at the house. Yeah, I had to take off. Yeah. But all those rabbits get cleaned. They all get eaten, and which is awesome too. So, all right, Steve, the show is on Sunday night, Pioneer PBS at Granite Falls, 7:30 p.m. You can watch it, I think, on some of the satellites, Dish and Direct. I think you can watch it around the state. Otherwise, it'll be on the Prairie Sportsman YouTube channel at noon on Sunday, and anybody can watch it there as well. Steve Kvalm, thanks for the time on the show.
Thank you.
All right, get back to work. All right.
I suppose I should.
I want to mention the SGR 500 just briefly. That's coming up April 7th and 8th at Riverbend Resort on the Rainy River. It's a 2-day fish donkey catch and release tournament, and we're doing 25% payback to the biggest walleye, the biggest sturgeon, and then we decided on some contingency prizes, Dan. I thought it would be, I think you had this idea actually originally, that if somebody's wearing Fish Hunt Forever gear in their winning picture, we'll give them a contingency. And last week we talked about what we should do, and this is what it's going to be. If you take first with the biggest walleye and you're wearing something with Fish Hunt Forever in your picture, I'm going to give you an extra $150. And if you catch the biggest sturgeon and you're wearing Fish Hunt Forever stuff, a hat, hoodie, whatever, if our logo is visible in the picture, you can read it. That's the criteria. I'm going to give you $150. And if you catch the state record as part of this, I'm going to give you, what did I decide? I think extra $150. So extra $300 contingency. So there you go. Chance to win some more money. Whoa. Also, Chef Roberts sent it. Do you see all those boxes of Chef Roberts, David?
That's a lot.
They sent us all this breading mix, which is awesome. And, we are going to give away the first 50 people that come in for the night of the podcast. So Wednesday night after the tournament's over, come into Riverbend. The first 50 people that took part in the tournament. So you had to be in the tournament. You're going to get a free bag of Chef Roberts. So we'll hand out some free Chef Roberts, easy for me to say, at the tournament on Wednesday night at Riverbend Resort. I talked to Paul. And by the way, we're doing another contest. Here's another way to win some free stuff. If you go to Fish Hunt Forever on Facebook.
All the social media platforms.
For Fish Hunt Forever, we have a reel up where we drill a hole on the Rainy River out in front of Riverbend Resort, and we're asking you to guess when the ice will be off at their middle dock there at Riverbend. And I think first person closest to the date is going to get $100 to spend at Riverbend. And then if you say yes or no, that'll be open on the first day of our tournament. We'll throw in, and you get that right, we'll throw in a chance for you to win $100 to our store as well.
I don't think some people fully understood it because somebody guessed yesterday, April 2nd, that it would be open at the dock, but then put no, that it wouldn't be open for the tournament. Jeez,
well, they're hedging their bets.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like it could be open and then refreeze.
Or
I
if
guess
they're wrong on one, can they still be right on the other one?
Well, but they'd be wrong on both.
I'll be honest, I watched the video again after I made the video a month ago or whatever it was. I watched it again yesterday, I think, and even I was confused by that. So we should have probably just done one contest. But that's the way it works. You can guess on two different things there. What day it'll be open and if it'll be open on the first day of our tournament, and you could win some prizes. Paul messaged me yesterday and he said the river is open, I think he said 2 to 3 miles past Lowman, I think is what he said. So we are starting to open up there. I mean, we got some colder weather right now, but things are starting to open up.
Well,
3 to 4 miles west of Lowman, he said.
So there's two things with that too. Yeah, there's colder temps, but whatever everyone always forgets when it comes to March, we have more sunlight. As we're creeping into spring, the earth starts to tilt, so the sun has a little bit more power. It's going to melt the ice faster. Even like 40 degrees right now is going to melt more ice than 40 degrees in January doesn't. And right. I think people tend to forget that. And there's not a lot of ice on the river. And like even somebody, I think it was Sunset Lodge at the Northwest Angle, they were posting like, hey, things are getting sloppy during the day. They refreeze at night. But even up there, things are getting sloppy. Like the sun has some power. So I think we're going to have a lot of fishable river this year. And I've already had a few people message me, do you really think it's going to be open this year? It's our 5th year doing this. In 5 years, we've had people wonder and be afraid that it's not going to be open. And every year it's been open.
Yeah, so at least part of the river will be open and be fishable. I think we had 2 accesses last year, I feel like.
3.
Did we have 3? Mm-hmm. And the year before it was all of them. And, I think 3 years ago they opened up some accesses while we were on the river, I think, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So things were melting as we were fishing. So, I mean, we fished during heavy snowstorms. We've gotten sunburn in 70 degrees a couple of years ago or something like that. So but we've always had some place to fish, and the fishing has always been really good. Like last year, I watched the video from our time fishing last year. We caught a lot of nice walleyes.
Yeah.
It was good. It was a good year.
Absolutely.
We didn't really fish for sturgeon much. I think just during lunch for a little bit.
No, and sturgeon fishing was pretty slow overall, I think, for a lot of anglers, or people just quit sturgeon fishing as soon as they saw a 71-incher was caught. Realized, probably not going to be able to beat that. So,
well, there are definitely bigger sturgeon in that river. You do have a chance to beat that every year. I can't wait. Is that it right there? Is that from 2 years ago?
Yep.
Yeah. So if you're watching this, we should mention too, if you're just listening to this, there are some benefits to watching it. Now you do have to put up with looking at our faces. So we should blur all our faces out when we do this. But Dan usually puts a video on right now, and I'm going to be completely distracted because this is our SJR 500 video from a couple years ago. There's a big sturgeon going back. But when we look in on the migration highway, like we have this exclusive video, this look into the river, this live look at the migration highway at Lake of the Woods. If you're just listening to it, it's like somebody messaged me, is like, hey, where can I watch that live feed of the Rainy River? I was like, oh, here's last week's show. Go to the 24-minute mark of last week's show. And he messaged me back, just the face palm going, oh, I thought you had a real camera down there. Twitch, I say, of course it's a real camera. Here is this week's look right now as we go live on the Migration Highway with Riverbend Resort. There it is. So
that's JR 5000.
It's
a week long.
Look at the size. So anytime someone tells me that AI is going to take over the world, I tell them, I'll show them this video because I said, all right, it's the SJR 500, April 7th and 8th, Riverbend Resort. And look at that. Play it one more time. Look at that. Just pause it on the sign on the left when you can read the sign on the left here.
Which one?
That one right there. Yeah. So SJR 5000, fishing April 1 through 8, Priz, Stir Direct.
Nope, nailed it.
And what? Rawini, Rilst.
Yep.
Connect. Yeah. So anyway,
how is it possible that AI makes such realistic videos sometimes, and then it just does that?
Yeah, I literally uploaded so we have the promotional poster, the flyer, the one sheet. It's on our website. It definitely hangs in different places here and there, but I uploaded it. Like, all you have to do, I is just put this as the sign, and that's what it did right there. So there's your live look at the Migration Highway. Lake of the Woods and the Rainy River. All right, Riverbend Resort has got some lodging. If you're going to book lodging for our SJR 500 tournament, if you use the code SJR 500, you will get a discount for lodging at both Riverbend Resort and the Walleye Inn in Bret. If you're looking for lodging up there, April 7th and 8th, we'll do a non-mandatory rules meeting Monday, April 6th, and then 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Tuesday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Wednesday. And I've had a number of people this week ask me, why are you doing it during the week? And every year this question comes up. And the first reason was because we record our podcast on Wednesdays. The whole idea, the SJR 500 stands for Sporting Journal Radio 500th Show, which we celebrated our 500th show with a big party up at Riverbend 5 years ago now, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. It's good math.
Thank you very much. Since this is the 5th annual SJR 500, we've since changed the name of the podcast. This is show 705, I think, this week. So it's
also good math.
205 shows ago, something like that. But you get up to the Rainy River, the last week of the walleye season, the landings get really busy, the river gets busy, the resorts get busy, lodging gets trickier. So it's like, you know what? Let's have a tournament during the week when things are a little bit slower up there. I know some people are frustrated because they work during the week, they can't come, whatever. I apologize for that, but that's kind of the reasoning behind this. So, all right, we're going to find out more about Lake of the Woods, what's going on up there with Joe Henry from Lake of the Woods Tourism when we come back.
Sick of eating tag soup? It's time to own your odds this fall with OnX Hunt, the GPS hunting app trusted by millions of hunters. Now you'll have access to nationwide public and private land ownership information, waypoints, optimal win for each stand, tracks, and much more. All at your fingertips. Go to onxmaps.com/hunt and use code SJR20 at checkout to receive 20% off your membership. That's code SJR20. Lake of the Woods is the walleye capital of the world. Plan your ice fishing trip today. We have over 60 lodging options with 30 full-service resorts featuring heated fish houses, ice transportation, meal plans, and sleeper house options. Fish from the famous Rainy River in the South Shore.
You never know what you're going to catch.
To the scenic Northwest Angle.
Here at the Northwest Angle.
Catch walleye, sauger, perch, sturgeon, eelpout, tulipy, northern pike, and more. Fish Minnesota's Lake of the Woods. Learn how at lakeofthewoodsmn.com.
All right, time to head up to Lake of the Woods, check in with Joe Henry from Lake of the Woods Tourism. Joe, how's it going?
Hey, Bret. It's going good, man. I'll tell you what, it might be melting in other parts of Minnesota and the Midwest, but up at Lake of the Woods, we have single digits coming. We have below zero coming. We still have 3 feet of ice, and ice fishing is in full swing.
Which is awesome, but... Gosh, I want the Rainy River to open up. That's the only, I know we got a month, 3 weeks or whatever it is now before our tournament, but I'm just so anxious for spring. But no, that's good. I mean, and there's a reason that you have that extended ice fishing season up there, and that's because you have a lot of ice yet up there.
We do, yeah. And, we're lucky because not only do we have the extended ice fishing, but being border water with Canada, we have extended season for the fish. So we have, walleye and saugers that are open till April 14th. Pike are open year round. Of course, we got our perch, our tulipies, our eel pout. They're all open. Right now it's catch and release for a sturgeon if a person wants to get a sturgeon through the ice. And to your point too, I mean, number one, we can't control Mother Nature. She's going to do what she's going to do. But there are a lot of us, when it gets nice out like this, we are anxious to drop our boats in. And
I love it.
Last year,
I'm addicted to it.
So I got a button bar this week, so I get to play sound. So I'm
hot. Digging it down.
Yeah, so I just was saying I love
it.
Fishing up there. I'm addicted to it.
I'm addicted to it.
When Danny presses those buttons, he does that when people are not talking. Danny, that's how to do it when people aren't talking.
You sure about that? You sure about that?
So anyway, it's last year, the Rainy River opened up. It was we thought it was cold and we didn't know what was going to happen. And the Rainy popped open that that third week of March out in Birchdale, 30 miles east of Bret. And, things, Bret, I don't tell you, things happen fast, man. When things start melting, things start going, they go fast.
Yeah, they do go fast. And we've seen it. I mean, every year, and I don't want to get ahead of ourselves here, but every year for that tournament, April 7th and 8th this year, there's somewhere on the Rainy River to put a boat in and fish. And sometimes a little work needs to be done at the accesses. I know the counties get out there with, excavators or backhoes, whatever, and they start knocking stuff out. Sometimes you have just anglers that are out there chiseling away at the ice, which is awesome. But we've seen accesses open up while we're out there fishing. I think we've actually put in on one access and pulled out at a different one, further, down river as the ice opens up. But the thing I'm sorry, I can't wait. I'm just very excited about it. Like, I can't wait to go. I've watched the video from last year, Dan. You know how earlier in the show I said I watched that the other day? Yep. I watched it twice. That's how excited I am to fish the Rainy River.
Well, Joe. The SGR 500, April 7th and 8th, one of the reasons you have it April 7th and 8th is it's not a matter of the river's going to be open. It's going to be how many boat ramps will be open on the 7th and 8th. And, every boat ramp you get open, what that does is that simply divides up the traffic so you don't have such long lines. And here's the deal. When you go to the Rainy River in the spring, you know what? Just expect that there's going to be a longer wait than normal because it's a tradition. And if there's only one access open at that time, or maybe there's two, it's going to be a little bit of a wait. But also take this into account. When we talk about the Rainy River, most people aren't saying, oh, remember that, 45-minute wait or that hour wait or that long walk we had back to the boat ramp from our truck and trailer when we parked it. What they're talking about is, holy crap, do you remember the size of those walleyes we caught? Remember when we were pitching jigs to shore? Remember when we decided to troll upstream slowly with those big jigs and plastics at about a 45-degree angle, and we'd lift them up and we'd let them down and it wouldn't hit the bottom, and your line would jump and you'd set the hook and your rod would just bend over? And how many 28-inch walleyes we got? I mean, that's the stuff. That's why people go, right?
It is why people go, and it's a chance to catch maybe the biggest walleye of your life. And also the chance to catch big sturgeon. And Joe, we mentioned it earlier. We're going to do contingency prizes in the tournament this year. So if you're wearing Fish Hunt Forever, I'm not wearing any, but like Dan or David's hat, if you're wearing one of those in your winning first place walleye or first place sturgeon picture, you will get an extra $150. So extra $150 contingency prize for the first place winners. So go to the Fish Hunt Forever store at fishhuntforever.com and get yourself some Fish Hunt Forever gear. We have brand new SJR 500 stuff in there, including mugs like this one. Only it says 5th annual instead of 4th annual on it. So we got some new mugs in there, and then we got the old school camo hoodies we have in there now. We've got, some other new stuff. Check it out at fishhuntforever.com. And then if you catch the state record sturgeon or the state record walleye, and you're wearing our Fish Hunt Forever gear in it, we'll throw in another $150 on top of that.
Wow. Man, I could come away and my retirement code would be all ready to roll, man. Be all set.
I know people are like, well, you should raise it to $100 entry fee, then you could pay out more money. And it's like, I could. I like it where it's at.
Right.
You know what?
It's a fun tournament.
There's really no barriers to entry. And it makes it so nice because if people are saying, we're really not up here to even fish that tournament, we're up here just to fun fish, but for $40 a head, let's get into it. It'll be fun.
Yeah. I don't want it to get so big that people want to cheat at it. There's just another tournament in Texas or something, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Guys were putting weights in fish. No, I just want it to be a fun tournament. It's a good time. It's a party.
Fish Donkey, using that Fish Donkey app too, they do such a nice job. It's hard to cheat even if a person wanted to, just because there's a lot you can control there. But naturally, this is it's about making memories. It's about good people getting together. It's about spring fishing tradition. It's about SJR 500. I mean, for listeners that don't know, the reason this whole tournament started, the SJR 500, that was a 500 episode. It was a celebration, an anniversary of the 500 episode. Bret, technically, we should be calling it.
Wait a minute.
SJR.
How many episodes?
500. Technically, he's not wrong.
You sure about that? You sure about that?
Technically, it is the 5th.
You're not from here, are you, boy? So sorry. The 500th episode.
There you go. All right.
How many episodes?
Look at this guy.
Are you at now?
705 this week.
This week. So really, by the time we do it, we should really call it the SGR 710 or something, or
yeah, 708 or something like that, I suppose. Yeah, I mean, we definitely could, but then the problem is like SGR 500 is confusing enough for people. If we kept changing the name every year,
It would be 709, and that just really doesn't roll off the tongue. My marketing background says that's a poor idea.
Yeah, 500's better.
Well, plus it'd have to be the FHF 709 because you rebranded to Fish Hunt Forever, didn't you?
We did. Yeah. So it would, people would be very confused.
Yeah.
I think. But I think we should start calling it the SGR 500.
500. The 500. The 500. Hey, I'll never live that one down.
Understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
I'm going to see myself saying the 500 on social media all over the world now.
I love it. Well, the Rainy River will be there soon enough. I know guys are tip up fishing for pike. There's guys out there catching walleyes yet. And of course, what's going on up at the Northwest Angle, Joe Henry?
Well, I'll tell you this much. I got a guy that understands my verbiage, and that's the guy that runs a resort up at the Northwest Angle, and that would be Alver Leighton of Oak Island Resort. I'm talking his language. Tell me if I'm wrong, Alver.
No, I think you're right. I think the only thing you need to add is something like platinum or unlimited to like the 500 platinum tournament, and then that's really good marketing.
That is Shakespearean wonder.
Those key words.
The ultimate.
Yes. Love it.
500
Alver, how's it going, man? Thanks for coming on the show. You're already bringing us ideas. We need to have you on more often, clearly.
Yeah, well, when somebody says marketing, that's probably the only thing I'm really, really, really good at my resort is how do I market this sucker? I need to get heads in beds.
Just add the word platinum and do a video every day.
Yeah, every single day. I've been doing it for 3 years, every single day now. It might not be 3 years. That might be a falsity. But every single day during the summer for over 5 years, and then every single day, well over 2 years. I know that. So. And I have a lot of people that watch me. In fact, we had a clicker this weekend at the Fargo Sportsman Show, and we hit a dozen. Hey, I watched your videos. Because we're going to have an over-under bet on how many people come up and ask if they whether or not they watch my videos every single day that I put up. So it's kind of fun.
That's awesome. That means it's working. That's great. And not only do people see it, but the fact that they recognize you after seeing it, it's almost like the old radio bit of repetition works. And that's the way radio schedules were always built, was like, we're just going to beat people over the head with this message over and over and over again. And it works. Repetition works. So Oak Island Resort is the place. And I'm trying to remember, like, how long have you owned that resort up there, Alver?
This will be summer number 5. So I bought it the second summer of COVID. And then
yikes.
The border opened up about literally 30 days after I bought it. But that first summer you didn't make any money that first year. And then year number 2, it really, I was learning, a huge learning curve. And then the last 2 summers, it's just gotten way better. And I'm looking forward to summer number 5. And finally, it's the 5th year, but is it the 5th year or the 4th year of me owning my own business and being a small business owner? I'm really excited, and it's just kind of awesome.
I can't believe it's been that long already. I feel like, because did you do the Northwest Sports Show that first year that you owned it then?
I did it the first 2 years I owned it.
Okay.
Yep. So
because I think I was basically in a booth next to you or pretty close to you, and said hi to your dogs every time you walked by, But I remember talking to you about that and being that it was your first year or you were brand new up there. So I can't believe it's been that long already.
Well, it's like you said, radio, repetition, but it's also a mix of everything. Just like this podcast, you do a little bit of radio, you do a little bit of sports show, you do a little bit of magazines, you do some print, you do your social media, and hopefully at the end of by the time the season starts, you're like, man, I'm kicking butt. But hopefully, especially by the end of the summer, where you go, hey, it was a pretty good year, and that's what it all mixes together. So that's kind of why I do everything.
Tell the listeners where you're at. Like obviously Oak Island, you're in Oak Island Resort, but you're in Oak Island. But tell them exactly where you're at and tell them about your resort. Just your amenities and stuff. And
okay, so Oak Island Resort is the oldest resort on the Northwest Angle. Was built in 1938.
Wow.
Yeah, so back in 1938, you had the Bay Store, which is now Frank Walsh, or Walsh Bay Store, which is a resort. So they were around at the same time I was around, but they were a store and the post office. And then my resort stretched all the way down to Sunset Lodge. And now, so if you can imagine, it was huge. And it's now, there's 3 resorts: Oak Island Resort, Guide Quarters LLC, and Sunset. And Oak Island Resort is still 15 buildings plus a glamping tent, 9 rentable cabins, fish cleaning shack, the oldest lodge on the island, which is, it's just beautiful. If you want to see something old, they used to turn it into a ice rink back in the 40s and 50s. They would flood it and freeze it, and it was an ice rink inside on the island. And
really?
Like, a lot of people don't understand this about Oak Island, is that it had more population back in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, and maybe even the 60s, than the mainland. Like, on the mainland, all you had was Young's Bay. And the reason was because you could only get up there by boat. So Oak Island is 20 minutes closer than the mainland. And then that changed when they finally got the gravel road. Was that in the 60s or 70s that happened, that they finally had a 2-lane road to the northwest angle, which changed the game. So, yeah, the island resorts, there's a reason there's still 5 resorts on Oak Island, 4 in the Bay, because we have the sunset every night. I always, like, when I'm selling my resort and I'm at the booth and I tell people we have the sunset every night. Then if you come in like September, we're an hour and a half north of everything, and you have your bonfire going, and around 11 o'clock, you will see the Northern Lights in September, which is really kind of awesome. And it's really awesome when you learn about the history. You can still go to the one-room schoolhouse that's over at the Guide Quarters LLC. That's one of their buildings. And understand that the island has had people on it since the early 1930s. And the resort was established in 1938. And I happened to be owner either 5 or 6. It was in one family until 1991. And then Paul and Lori Jensen owned it until 2016. And then Kyle and Jenny bought it. And then they sold it to me in the middle of COVID. And so the history is just amazing, especially the history with Walsh Bay Store and Oak Island Resort, because we've both been around since the early, since 1938. So.
Well, now, Alver, so your resort, you don't have a bar and restaurant there. However, what a lot of people will do is they'll stay at your resort. Obviously, the cabins have great cooking facilities. And then if they want to eat out, they can go to other resorts around the Northwest, saying, in fact, Sunset Lodge, which has a good bar and restaurant, great bar and restaurant, they're right next door, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah, so we have the lattes and the mochas. We sell coffee in the lodge. But I have guests from...
I definitely thought you were talking about Busch Lights for just a second there, but you're talking about coffee. Okay,
Busch lattes, Albert.
Yeah.
Busch lattes, yeah. No, you can get, you could probably get a little brandy in there and make it a wake-up coffee. But we have we have 3 fathers that come up from Iowa every year to take advantage of the smallmouth bass fishing. Their boys are all teenagers, and they love staying in a cabin, because I have all cabins, and then fishing all day, walking down to sunset, having a cocktail, but being able to make their own breakfast. And if they want, they just like to do sandwiches for fishing. So they do their own breakfast sandwiches, but then they can walk down, have their cocktail, a steak, burger. Sunset has an amazing, it's different every year, but Sunset the last 2 years has had the best steak special of the island resorts.
Tell me
so
more.
That's, I can just talk about when you don't have a bar and restaurant, it's my job the first week of every season to go and have a burger at every island resort restaurant. And then when people come and they stay at my resort, they say, which one should I go to? And I can recommend the resort by the burger itself.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, so it's kind of fun. It's one of the videos. If you watch my videos, you'll see me. One day I'll be at Cyrus Flag Island. I'm like, all right, testing the burger. And then the next, and I'll be at Henham's Oak Island Lodge, and it's, all right, I'm testing the Henham's Oak Island Lodge burger. And then by the end of the week, I'm almost burgered it out, but of course Sunset is right there down the walking path, 5 minutes. And then it's, all right, I'm finally at Sunset Lodge testing their burger. And that's who I recommend the rest of the summer. Yeah, so it's my way of figuring out who I should recommend my guests to go to. But a lot of people that come to my resort love walking down. It's only 5 minutes to get to Sunset, but they like making their own breakfasts, and then they like being able to just go to Sunset for supper and having that cocktail before they come back to their own cabin at my resort. We're only 5 minutes apart. We all used to be the same resort back in the 1930s and 40s.
I'll tell you, I mean, there's something to that. I mean, and then you don't have to deal with having a kitchen and a bar, and you don't have to worry about, washing dishes and liquor licenses and all that. It's almost the best of both worlds. And, Joe, you and I have talked about this a lot. It's obviously you're competing with other resorts up there, and some people have their traditions where they go to this place or that place, but you have to be able to get along with your neighbors, particularly at a remote location like the Northwest Angle. So it's nice to see that, yeah, you guys each offer your own thing and people are gonna have their favorites, but when you can get along like that, I think that's great to see.
Well, Alver, comment on that.
Well, so I'm going into summer 5, and Sam and Travis have ran Sunset for 12 plus years. And they're awesome. So they, there's every time you're a new owner at a new business or anything, there's other people who might have resort experience, but I was completely green. I was a blue collar oil field lease operator, pumper, company man. Up there on the Northwest Angle, they're all family owned, and there's a strong belief that if all the resorts are doing well, then we're all doing well. So when people are at the booth, I stress to people, it's like, hey, I would love to earn your business. But the truth is, all 14 establishments that are in the Lake of the Woods Tourism magazine are really, really good. There's 3 that offer American food plans. And there's 4 bars and restaurants. So Young's Bay is a lot like mine, where you can stay at Young's Bay and go have supper at Jerry's every single night. And then, but there's not a single resort up there where, I remember my very first week when I owned the resort, and there was the border still was closed. And I had to talk with Paul and Karen over at Jake's. And he's like, hey, no, you're brand new. You got this on your mind, this on your mind, this on your mind. Do this, trust me. And I did. But every single person up there, they want to see you succeed. And because if we all are doing well, every resort is doing well. If I'm doing well, Sunset's doing well. If Sunset's doing well, then I'm doing it all. So we work with each other. We want to make sure everybody's kicking butt at life and in business. And it's just really, Everybody wants to see everybody succeed. I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
I think that saying is a rising tide floats all boats, and you guys really do work together as a team. Alver, comment about, I know the one night that you don't go out for hamburgers at other resorts is Sunday night. Talk about your tradition at the resort on Sunday night.
That's the one night that I get Sunset people to walk down to my resort. I get Flag Island resort goers to show up at my docks. I get even a little bit of Henham's Oak Island Lodge. I've had guests from every single resort, even the mainland resorts, show up on Sunday night to do walleye paella. And paella is an amazing Latino type hot dish where we start with sausage, and we start with the sausage and we get back going for 15 to 20 minutes in a broth of seasoning. And then we add our vegetables, let those get nice and tender. Then we add for about 15 minutes, and then we add broth. Let that get in there. We get that to boiling. Then we add rice. Rice for about 15 to up to 24 minutes. The rice is the most delicate part. And then at the very end, we add walleye and shrimp, or one time we had a bunch of guides show up with a bunch of perch, because it's all donated fish, mostly from the guides up there. They'll catch they'll help their people catch fish, and then they'll show up and they go, "Hey, Alver, we got so many guys coming. Here's our fish." And then that's how we get the fish for the walleye paella, is from the guides. And so we had all perch. Paella. I always say walleye, but it's the freshest fish from the islands, and then takes about an hour and a half to an hour and 45 minutes to cook. And then we pull off the tin foil, and you have fresh walleye paella. And it helps when your wife is Filipino and knows exactly what spice mix to go with the rice, because the rice is the main part of the dish. But I'm a Midwestern guy, so I think, well, the walleye. But if you have the rice just perfect, that's when you have people that want to show up every single Sunday, donate fish, and they bring their guests. Like even if you own a private cabin on the Northwest Angle, they'll pre-call and they go, "Alver, do you have enough room to have us?" And I mean, my paella feeds 45 people, so I normally have enough people.
If you see a picture of it, look at the size of his pan. Like, you find a picture of it. His pan is, I don't know how big your pan is, but I mean, it is. And I mean, people talk about it from all over the angle. I mean, it's a big.
It's 30. I want to say 36 inches round, but it might be 48. It's 48 inches round. It's really big. It's like when I take my hands like this, I'm grabbing it. I don't let my camera's too close. Let me move this back. So I'm grabbing it like this, So it's and I'm a 5'8" on a good day. So if you go finger to finger, right, that would be 60 inches. But I know it's not that, so it's probably 48 inches round.
That's like a sheet of plywood.
It feeds 40 to 45 people, and we go through all of it. Well, I always say a 20-week season, and 6 to 8 of those weeks there will be no leftovers, and normally all 20 weeks there's no leftovers on any of the fish or shrimp. We might have too much rice, and that's the hardest part to judge, is how much rice, because you just go, okay, we have 30 people coming to camp, or we have 40. If we get 45 people, it's all gone. But I normally, every Sunday, I'm feeding at least 30, but usually 34 to 35 people. And it just gets to be bigger and bigger every year, because that was, like I said, this is my 5th summer owning the resort, and I didn't start this until year 2. And that's where it is right there. It's beautiful. But yeah, and then the other thing would be when you
hang on just a second. So that's every Sunday. So what's your open season? When can people see that up there?
That would be the first, not Minnesota opener, but the very next Sunday. When is that? So
when is your resort open, and then when do you start the PA?
So I used to have a church group show up on the 13th and leave on the 16th, but 8 of my 9 cabins will be full on the 15th
of May.
If that makes sense. So I have, when I do my advertising right now, I always say I have 1 to 1.5 cabins open in the month of May, because I have a 5-day window.
And then you go through the month of...
the October 3rd. But I'm trying to possibly change that and have groups come up from October 3rd to the 10th. And then also fishing opener. I think I want to get just one big group of 15 to 20. I don't know. I might offer a 50% off deal. I was going to talk to you about that, Joe, for fishing opener, or if you come up on the 12th or the 13th and just see if I can get some business that right after the opener, that first week, because we've never done it. Oak Island Resort has never had guests that early.
As far as fishing goes, I mean, it's a jig bite. There's freaking fish everywhere.
That time of year, everybody knows that the Rainy River is an amazing hatchery, but that time of year, Oak Island Resort is its own little hatchery. And like you were talking about the river opening up and catching giant walleye, you will catch giant walleye just around the island, right off the dock. That first week, or that Minnesota fishing opener up on the northwest angle around Oak Island, we're all sand beaches. I don't know a lot about the how I just know they lay eggs, and the females lay eggs, and the males, they just.
We need to have a birds and the bees discussion with you, Alver.
Did you learn that in biology class? Just out of curiosity.
We're covering everything.
The males have to fertilize them.
Marketing to reproductive. All right.
Hey, so May 12th, Brett, we started talking about that topic. Even David woke up. So, but no, I'll tell you, we talk about the Rainy River being certainly a very important part of Lake of the Woods for walleye spotting and reproducing. But it's one small piece. I mean, Lake of the Woods has 65,000 miles of shoreline, and that's one of the great things is that there's sustainability when it comes to the spawning and reproducing. You know, if all those eggs were in the Rainy River were fertilized and then we got cold water and it didn't get warm real quick, we'd lose that whole batch. But thankfully for the sustainability of the lake, we got 65,000 miles of shoreline. So there's times where those fish in the south end are spawned out and people are catching fish up north and they still have eggs because it goes in succession. Sure. So it's really good for the sustainability of the fishery.
Well, the Rainy probably gets the most attention because it opens up before everything else. What's your traditional historical ice out date or area of dates up there at the angle?
So I actually learned this because this would be my 5th season. The first 2 years, ice was not off until the day before Minnesota Fish Opener. And then the last 2 years, it was off at the very beginning of May. And so I was like, well, when is the traditional? And it's literally the first 3 to 4 days of May is traditionally when ice is off. Last year, it was May 1st it started, and by the 5th, I was at the island. And I could have been up there as early as the 3rd. And obviously, you learn. You go, okay, because I get the itch. I want to be on the island. And it's May 1st. You can just go, okay, May 1st. So then I have 1 weekend or 2 weekends before Minnesota Opener to get the resort ready, if that makes sense.
Alver, what was more work? Working on the oil rigs out in western North Dakota or running a resort?
Well, I mean, the oil rigs was real work where it felt like a job. I haven't worked a day in my life, or I haven't worked a day in 4 years, soon to be 5 years. But I don't know. I get up at 6 a.m. or sometimes 5:30 in the a.m. during the summer. I'm out the door working the docks at 6:37, and I get done at 7:30, 8 o'clock. But none of it feels like work because I'm just being host, and that's really easy when all you're doing is being a host. Bret was talking earlier about being the host on Saturday mornings instead of duck hunting, but at the same time, when you're the host of your own company, it doesn't feel like work at all. But in the oil business, I was up every day for 12 years at 4 a.m. On a well site by 5:30 at the latest, home at 5:30. Early day was 4 or 4:30, so every day was 10 or 12 hours for 12 years, and that was a job.
Yeah,
and I was good at it. I was a lead lease operator, trained guys, company man. If anybody knows what that means, I worked for Whiting and also Continental, Harold Ham, and I owned a house on Lake Patterson. I was very, very good at what I did, but I too was sitting in a company truck one day, and I was listening to Duck Commander or a podcast, and they were talking about Phil Robinson was making a living as a duck guide, and I said, how can I make a living as a pheasant guide? And that's what started my journey of eventually owning a resort, I wanted to be in the outdoor world. I wanted to be active in that world because that was where my passion lied. And when you actually can make a little bit of a living and work what your passion is, it's not work at all.
You do have to enjoy what you do, and that helps. And it's kind of interesting since we both have radio in our backgrounds, and it sounds like we had almost a similar experience where we were doing something that was a job, but it was fine, but we wanted to do something in the outdoors. And I happened to have an epiphany in Fargo working in NDSU bison game and said, I need to find a job that pays me to hunt and fish all the time. So I figured that out, and you essentially did that same thing. And man, I was in North Dakota when the boom happened out there in the patch, and that was wild. And I don't know how many times I looked at jobs like I'm going to go out there, even just driving a water truck or whatever. They were making so much money. And I was like, I'm just going to do that for like 2 years. I'm going to come back. And then I said, you know what? No, I'm going to go start my own business and start a radio show and go into debt for a couple of years. That seems like
I've seen you try to back up your half ton. It's probably a good thing you didn't go out there and drive a tender.
Shut your mouth. But
Danny, did you have a backup camera at that point, or do you have to be with mirrors?
I don't know if it would make a difference.
I love Western North Dakota in any case, and to be out there. I know you're working all the time. You don't even really get to enjoy the outdoors as much when you're out there working in Western North Dakota, but I loved it out there so much, and I pheasant hunted out there, I bow hunted out there, got to hang out in the buttes and see everything else. I mean, tell me about getting into guiding pheasants out there. What was that like for you?
Well, I've been a licensed pheasant guide for 15 years. Started with Cannonball Company, which is the biggest in North Dakota.
Sure.
They would rival any South Dakota. South Dakota, they're huge. They shoot 500,000 birds a year. North Dakota's a distant second at 80 to 100,000 birds. Then the next closest states are 15 to 20,000. So you have South Dakota and North Dakota for pheasant hunting. And I was with the biggest outfitter, and they're the biggest because they're very good at what they do, all wild birds. And then I went to I got recruited by Dakota Winds.
To be fair, that part of the state is probably the best. I mean, southeast North Dakota's got some birds, but southwest North Dakota is unreal out there.
Yeah,
they lost some habitat, but
so 5 years ago, I was recruited by Dakota Winds, right, as a brand new resort owner. And he needed a new lead guide, and Cannonball had a dozen lead guides, and I was number 12. So I was like, okay, I'll jump ship. Since then I've grown his guide business from 6 groups to about 12 groups, and I've recruited 2 other guides, and they're both the breeders of my dogs. But so Top Shelf Kennels out of Davenport, North Dakota, who arguably is one of the Jeff Jalbert has won Breeder of the Year for NAVDA 8 times in 24 years.
Wow!
So amazing dogs. That's not me. It's the dog work. When people get to work behind that, and then Iron Point Kennels, Rhett Hall out of Dickinson, North Dakota, in the VDD world, it's just a draw heart. It's a very German wire hair. Very well known and respected in that dog world. But in the Midwest, the best pointing dogs you can get is like a German dog. So either a German wire-haired pointer or a Drothar, which is just German for German wire-haired pointer. There's an intensity.
It's funny that there's a distinction between the two, because I know guys that run Drothars and I know guys that run wire hairs.
Well, I don't know if you can see this one or not, but this one is Bayo, and he's a $10,000 dog just because he's had about 500 birds shot over him every single year for 5 years. So, but I got like when these guys come out, I've guided for the owners of Patagonia, and I've guided for some people with a lot of Pennsylvania, New York, and Toronto families. Come to North Dakota because they want to be on wild birds. And that's the thing. Like, North Dakota has very few released birds. It's almost all wild birds. And like you said, that corner rivals anything in the world for pheasant hunting, and they call it the banana belt. It's something I had to learn in high school, why it's so cold in the Red River Valley and why it's so cold and there's an extra long ice fishing season up on Lake of the Woods is because the wind shoots up over the Rockies and then comes down, and you can kind of follow the Missouri River. The wind comes down, and and it's always colder all the way until it hits the forests of Minnesota. So you have longer ice seasons. But on the other side of the Missouri River, you have Dickinson, North Dakota, you have Bowman, you have Scranton, you have Mott, and if it's 35 degrees here, it's 45 degrees there. If it's 20 degrees here, it's 40 there. So it's always, it doesn't get into that consistent 20s. You're going to have 30 to 45 degrees more all winter long. And on that side of the Missouri, and it's all the way from Williston all the way down. It has to do with the wind, and it makes a lot of sense why the Missouri River runs the way it runs. If you grew up in North Dakota, they teach you, like, why is it so cold? Why is it so cold? And here's the other one. This is the Top Shelf Kennels doc. This is the old boy. And
graybeard.
So yeah, if anybody owns dogs, they understand jealousy. So I had one dog on the laps, and the other one had to jump in.
You know what? I'll tell you what. I got a buddy that's got a wire hair that I hunt with quite a bit, and it has made me look at. I've had labs. I got a yellow lab now, and I've thought about doing pointers, and wire hair is probably what I do. Isn't that what
you met Otto?
Otto was not a nice. Yeah. Otto and I grew
up with wire hairs and had a wire hair for 15 years, and yeah, he was a good boy.
I mean, don't get me wrong, some labs can be jerks too, but I think that's why I like labs so much. The temperaments are so much better. And don't get me wrong, some wire hairs can be great.
His dad was awesome. He was the best dog, and then
they tend to be similar to their owners.
His offspring was just something else.
Oh man! No, about Western North Dakota though. I mean, you'll see it even just driving the landscape. It's a little more, I don't know if arid or western slope or however you want to describe it out there, but it is almost a different climate, and especially when you get out into the Badlands, it's almost like you're getting. It's not desert, but it's almost like you're getting into that type of climate a little bit out there.
Yeah, it all has to do with the wind coming off the Rockies, and when you actually start to understand that, it's like, oh, this makes so much sense. Like why it's, like it gets pushed all the way across until it hits Lake of the Woods, and it also explains why there's more snow up there, why there's better snowmobiling on Lake of the Woods than anywhere else in the state of Minnesota.
So you went from. Well, go ahead. Go ahead.
Because of it stops, and then you get the snow, and it's really awesome.
So you went from the patch to guiding pheasants and talking about the wind. You just rode the wind to Lake of the Woods at that point.
I was lucky enough to have some very awesome parents, and they had a cabin on Pine Creek, which is up by Jake's Resort, growing up. So I was a weekend warrior. Yep. On the Northwest Angle, and I'm a lake snob where I want to fish on a really good lake. So when I looked to buying a resort, I knew I wanted to get out of the oil business and I wanted to do something outdoors related. And owning a resort made the most sense to me because their season ended, and then I could bird hunt for 100, if not 120 days straight. And so that was my goal. I wanted to hunt for 100 days straight, and I did it for a couple winters. So when I looked at 12 different resorts, only one of them was on Lake of the Woods, and within 3 cabins, I knew that Oak Island Resort was the one for me. And my parents had a cabin up there when I was growing up. So that was that. Yeah, I was brainwashed into the best resort, or the best lake in the world is Lake of the Woods. And so when I found out there was a resort for up there, that was it didn't take much.
Well, someone once told me if you want to catch a big fish,
Joe,
you have to go where the big fish are.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if it's brainwashing or just speaking facts, honestly. I mean, and the angle, like how cool, like I love Lake of the Woods. I love the rainy. you know, I've got friends at resorts all over the place up there, but there's something so neat about the Northwest Angle. It's beautiful. Fishing is great. The people are awesome. And just the history and the fact that you're out, you know, in the islands or even on the mainland there. I mean, it's just such a neat place. What did I say?
Goodness.
Well, those are definitely not German wire-haired pointers. I can tell you that.
The Amazon guy's at Joe's house now.
Those are hunting dogs. Just they hunt mice. You know?
That's awesome. It's such a beautiful place up there. In any case, I think you did all right finding a spot up at the Angle, man.
Yeah, thank you. It's exciting. It's awesome. Once you're up there and you're part of the community, it's my wife gets jealous because she has a hard time getting me to come home during the summer. And when you have a 14-month-old baby, you shoot home at least every third week for 3 or 4 nights. But it's difficult. And I have a baby, and it's like I gotta go see the baby. But I love being at my resort.
Talk about Marnelli, your wife, and you know what she does and how you guys make it work. And the other question I have for you is, are you just out of curiosity, are you good at eating sushi?
We did a video on it. So my wife, we met on the Facebook dating app about 2 years ago, and she happens to be a nurse at the VA hospital here in Fargo, North Dakota. And so I'm a summer only resort, and people are always like, why aren't you year round? Why aren't you year round? Because I'm a pretty big resort to be summer only. And she has health insurance, a 401k, pension when she works for the VA. So for me, it's a no-brainer to be summer only. But she hates this joke. And I always say that I would be year-round, but my wife showed up on the island and she seduced me. So now I live in Fargo during the winter months. And I don't get to hunt 100+ days a year anymore. But it's worth it. I was never a father. And I have learned a lot about fish. She's Filipino. We think, I know at least 6 different ways to make walleye taste really, really good. But if you ever get a chance, in the Asian community, but especially in the Filipino community, we have 14,552 islands on Lake of the Woods. The Philippines is made up of all islands. Yeah. So they know how to make fish. And I think that's how she won my heart is I'm like, oh my gosh, she can cook, and she can cook fish. So that helped, but we can eat a boat of sushi. And we let her order because she knows what she's ordering. And then we have it show up. And if you watch some of the videos that Joe has put out from this last Friday at the Fargo Sportsman Show, we all went to an all-you-can-eat sushi place. And at the end of it, I was the only one that could get the ice cream and Oreos in at the very end down. But this is I
don't know if you can see. I don't know if you see from Alver's Facebook page, but I'm telling you, there's 3 of us, and Marnelli ordered all the sushi. All you can eat sushi. It was Lenten Friday for us, wasn't it, Alver? At the Fargo Sportsman Show. Of course, we're the only 2 Lake of the Woods. We're the only 2 Lake of the Woods group, you know. And so we traditionally go for sushi on Friday night. Well, it's all you can eat sushi. So Marnelli ordered, and they bring this huge platter of sushi. And that didn't include the boat that they brought in addition. And there's 3 of us. And it looks like there should be about 6 of us. And then, of course,
feed the team platter.
You have to eat what you ordered. It was huge. So you have to eat what you ordered. So we have quite a bit of sushi left. And Alver and I looked at each other, and Marnelli smiled. She goes, I'm full. And Alver and I like, we're full, but we're not quitters. So
never give up.
It's the only way to get pistachio ice cream with deep fried Oreos too. You have to finish your ice cream or your Oreos, or not your Oreos. You have to finish your sushi to get your ice cream and Oreos. So it was
Look at that! Look at that!
If there was something interesting now, if I filmed over, I don't know if I filmed over to the platter that Joe's talking about, because when I record, I just kind of hold up my phone and go for it. But it was amazing the amount of food that we were able to put away. I'm proud of myself and ashamed all at the same time.
I'll echo that. One-seater.
Oh man! So are you gonna have a sushi?
I don't know. It was kind of weird because when we were walking out of there, the owners of that restaurant were singing in the background. You hear "We Are the Champions" song singing, and there's somebody from Guinness wanting us to sign our names. I don't know what that is.
Is your picture on the wall somewhere in that restaurant now?
We got a T-shirt.
You get 2 T-shirts. Yeah.
I once ate. I took my girlfriend out for a prime rib dinner on Valentine's Day. It was like 33-ounce prime rib for $33. My girlfriend, we ate. Then we had shrimp and some other appetizers. I'm not sure she touched the steak. I ate both of them and got a standing ovation from the kitchen crew when I walked out of the restaurant.
That's a lot of steak. Did she walk out of the restaurant 5 minutes ahead of you and never speak to you again?
He was not impressed. Yeah.
No, so they went home on Valentine's night and fell asleep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's what was happening for the next couple of days. I think after that,
sleeping on the toilet.
Rolled me home. All right.
That's what happened to me Saturday.
Man. All right. Well, that all sounds great. If people want to come up and check out your place this summer, how do they reach you?
The website's the best way is the oakislandresort.com. And it's the oldest resort. There's a lot of history there. It's a beautiful place.
Are you going to have a sushi night now after that?
No. I don't know how to do sushi with freshwater walleye. It might not be the same, but walleye paella on Sunday night. If you're up there this Northwest Angle on a Sunday, I have people come every Sunday that don't stay at my resort just to get the walleye paella, and it's awesome.
We're just going to drive up one Sunday and turn around and drive back. We're just going to come up and eat and head home.
But Alver, you welcome everybody. Anybody wants to come, right?
Yeah. It's a unique dish. You can only get up there, just like the buoy. You can only get your picture at the buoy, and it's awesome. Come on up to the Northwest Angle. It's a special place.
So this is you cooking it. It's not your wife doesn't come up and do it.
No, she'll help. We do a live YouTube and Facebook thing every Sunday. We do it. We had 255,000 people watching it at one point last year during one of our feeds, and we answer questions, and just like you guys. I mean, I'm trying to do the social media thing, So, we cook it. We answer questions. I used to smoke cigars when I did it, and then I got married, and that went away.
Albert, I think you said it right though. Yeah, I'm just like you guys. I'm still trying to do social media.
Yeah.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, every day you learn a little bit, right? So
it's always changing.
Yeah, and then it's every Sunday, and it's awesome. So.
All right. Alver Leighton, Oak Island Resort, really appreciate the time. And Joe, of course, if people want to plan a trip to the Angle or Rainy River or anywhere else on Lake of the Woods, what should they do to get more information?
Yep, you know what? Hey, check out our website, and that is lakeofthewoodsmn.com.
Thanks for listening to the Fish Hunt Forever show. Download the Fish Hunt Forever podcast wherever you get podcasts or watch on the Fish Hunt Forever YouTube channel. If you like today's show, please give us a 5-star review. Find past shows, articles, news about regulations, and more at fishhuntforever.com.